So I'm Marvin Rust. I'm head of the tax advisory business at FTI Consulting and also global head of the WTS transfer pricing service line, which we are a member of. I've been working in the transfer pricing arena for over 20 years, carried out probably something like 300 studies now, and uniquely, I'm the only person who's actually appeared in court on a UK transfer pricing dispute. At a 40,000 foot level, I think it's just the weight of new legislation through the BEPS initiatives. The 15 actions just require an enormous amount of rigor in reviewing the current pricing strategy, documentation, concluding whether or not that is still valid, adopting a new strategy, documenting that, pricing that, and frankly dealing with some of the rather odd perhaps non-arm's length issues that seem to be emerging from the BEPS initiative, such as the interest action point and also some of the hard-to-value intangibles, which clearly are not being valued in the way in which they've been valued in the past. This is a hard question, I think, in terms of what a successful strategy should look like, because it's sort of getting to the end game. We haven't actually got there yet. There clearly is a journey most companies are going on around moving from where they are now to a post-BEPS strategy. Given nobody's got there yet, it's difficult to say exactly how that would and should look. What it clearly should be doing is mitigating risk. In a way which is compliant with the BEPS initiatives. It should be focused on the future. It should focus on the way the supply chain works within a company. It should be compliant with the way the digital economy works for the company concerned. And it needs to be robust. And I think by robust, I mean something which is probably more weighty than most companies have done in the past. So we can expect more rigor, more transfer pricing inquiries than we've seen in the past, and companies need to be prepared for that. And finally, of course, it needs to be something that will be capable of being communicated to many stakeholders, including members of the public, MPs, as we're seeing in the UK, taking great interest in this matter, and of course, customers. This is a complicated issue. It's complicated because the directive to be implemented, as I understand it, needs to have the unanimous agreement of all 28 member states. Now that's something that's going to be difficult to achieve in practice, so I can foresee that the directive, which effectively implements most of the BEPS initiatives into effectively domestic law, will to some extent be watered down, as it will be necessary to get all 28 member states to agree the form of the directive. So that, I think, will delay implementation to some extent as the negotiations take place between the member states around which bits they like and which bits they don't like. Interestingly, of course, Action 4, which is the interest provision, is within the scope of the EU Anti-Avoidance Directive. And that's one that is, I think, particularly controversial, as effectively it does import a non-arm's length principle into transfer pricing and BEPS law effectively. So what do I think of a call for a sales-based tax? Well, MPs in the UK seem to be certainly attracted to this. Of course, there's a great deal of complexity. We're trying to introduce something on a unilateral basis, and frankly, I don't think it will happen. But the obvious answer is, of course, we already have a sales-based tax. It's called VAT. I'm looking forward to a wide-ranging and open debate around the issues that the companies are facing and need to deal with. Looking for engagement with some of the policymakers and leaders of of the BEPS initiative, such as Andrew Hickman, who's on my panel, I know, on the opening morning. And I'm looking forward to really introducing some of my colleagues and really informing the attendees around our own capability at FTI with 120 economists. And to my mind, a general requirement now to see a much higher level of scrutiny and ability displayed within people's transfer pricing documentation and strategy. I feel that plays very well to the strengths of FTI. Hence why we've decided to take the lead in partnering with TP Minds for this conference.